for Saturday and a team member of Apex Dreaming Conference. Really excited about organizing Salesforce events in our area where we can bring all together our trailblazers and grow all together. So really love community.
Well, thank you, Ole. We love what you're doing in the community. And thank you for joining us from the Ukraine today. I know it's got to be way past your bedtime. So I appreciate you staying up late. It definitely would be past my bedtime, which is about 8 o'clock every day. So thank you all for joining us. We have still more content coming your way, so don't go anywhere. Make sure you're tuning into one of the 4 channels here. We got dev content, admin content, architect content, ecosystem content, circles of success, and demos. Don't miss out, and we'll catch you at the next break.
Because future-looking statements are inherently subject to risk and uncertainty, our reminder is that you should make any purchasing decisions or investment decisions based on products that are currently commercially available.
Hello to all my virtual TDX friends. I hope you're having a great TDX so far. Thank you for joining us for this exciting episode on event-driven architectures. We're really excited to talk to you about Salesforce's approach to building event-driven architectures, and to help you on your journey on how you can start using them to speed up and scale your business. Let me get started by introducing myself. My name is Raj Advani, and I'm a Director of Product Management here at Salesforce. I'm responsible for platform events and change data capture. I've been with Salesforce for 15 years now, and I've spent a bulk of that time in services, working with individuals like yourself to help implement Salesforce at your companies. About 4 years ago, I moved over to product to see if I could help a larger subset of customers at once, instead of working individually with one customer at a time. We've got a packed agenda for this episode, so let's go over what the main points are. Really quickly, I want you to get a better understanding of first, what is event-driven architecture, including why and where you'd use event-driven architectures to help you. Next, I want you to get a better understanding of how Salesforce does event-driven architectures, meaning what technologies do we provide to make it approachable, and what's unique about our approach. We will then look at some examples of using these technologies and how we deliver them to you, including an awesome demo of platform events with Salesforce Functions, which is one of our most newest innovations here at Salesforce. And it really helps to show the power of the one platform concept. And finally, we'll wrap up with some takeaways, including our roadmap for both platform events and change data capture. So as you can see, that's a lot of information. So let's dive right in. So what is an event-driven architecture anyway? Well, to be honest, you could probably ask 10 different individuals and get 10 different answers depending on who you talk to, from architects to developers to product managers. But today, I want to focus our time on what's the Salesforce perspective. Just keep in mind though, there's no right or wrong here. We at Salesforce think of event-driven architectures as application design patterns that focus on 3 main things. Number 1, emitting events in real time when well-defined activities take place, such as a change in state. Number 2, decoupling services instead of tightly wielding together with custom code. And number 3, facilitating asynchronous business processes. The reason you might want to adopt this type of pattern is to build apps, integration, and workflows across systems, and you want them to be fast, easy to scale, and simple to change as you grow, such as when you need to swap out one subscriber for another, or when you need to add more subscribers to an event stream. Hopefully you can start to see where this would benefit you and the fact of how easy it would be to make those changes. Here at Salesforce, we help you realize the value of event-driven architectures through the Salesforce Event Bus, and 2 technologies built to interact with it, one being platform events, and 2 being change data capture. Our goal is to provide a fully managed and eminently scalable event bus for publishing and subscribing events, and to provide familiar metadata abstractions for defining and interacting with those events in a variety of contexts, such as app design, integration, automation, and more. It's really limitless what you can do with these technologies. It really comes down to what you're trying to build and what your system landscape looks like. I want to start with the most recent of those 2 technologies that I mentioned earlier, which is change data capture, or CDC for short. With change data capture, you can easily produce change data events when data changes on a specific object in Salesforce. What's great is the setup process for this is incredibly simple, using just clicks, and it provides a convenient way to sync downstream system with data changes in Salesforce and as those changes happen. Another great benefit is it also promotes decoupling apps by moving downstream logic out of DML transactions. A little roadmap tidbit here is that I'm happy to report we can now provide mandatory fields that enrich these change data events. Think of it as adding foreign keys or external IDs to your change data event when you're sending that data downstream. Those external IDs probably didn't change in Salesforce, but you still need to send them to those downstream systems. And now you can do it with this new feature. Let's look at an example of CDC in action. Now, here's a familiar use case. You all may have written a bulky Apex trigger at one point or another. Don't worry, we've all been there, including myself. These things can slow you down or definitely put you on the wrong side of limits. But now, using the power of the CDC, we have a better way of handling this. We can create a trigger on the change event channel for our object in this case. Well, in this case, it's the case object. I'm able to move my logic out of the transaction itself and to have it run asynchronously. This is smarter separation of concerns that makes my architecture more scalable and easier to change on the fly. Now, change data capture simplifies the specific and common type of event, which is events in response to data changes. When we take this one step further, we get to platform events. Platform events provide you the ability to create a more custom, granular notification. You define them as you would any object in Salesforce, adding custom fields to define their payloads to make downstream business logic easy to deliver at scale. You can publish and subscribe to these platform events in Salesforce using Apex or declarative builders like Flow. While outside of Salesforce, you consume them as you would, as well as change data events with a standard comedy listener, and you publish them to the event bus using our enterprise APIs. Another little great roadmap tidbit. And in order to provide greater visibility into the performance of these events, we now offer a related event channel for tracking these events to better inform you of the status of your events and to make sure that they're being delivered successfully. So at this point, you're probably saying to yourself, wow, my head is spinning, Raj. That was a ton of information and news. Or you might be thinking, my Apex triggers will never be the same. And honestly, we like that. It means that you're expanding your horizons. And we here at Salesforce take that as a sign that we're giving to our customers new and exciting innovations. But I want to take a minute to recap while it's still fresh. Change data capture delivers events in real time when data on an object is changed. And platform events are custom granular events you define to facilitate custom business logic across systems. Okay. I've talked quite a bit and I've thrown a lot of it out there, but it's demo time. I want to show you a live demo of platform events in action. And for this, we're going to bring a fun special guest, Salesforce Functions. Most serverless app patterns are event-driven, and Salesforce Functions is no different. In this demo, we're going to show you how we can invoke a function from a platform event that we defined in Salesforce, extending a business process in Salesforce with a serverless function we've written in Node.js. It's very exciting, so let's check it out. All right, I'm showing a few things on the screen. First, I've got my Salesforce org, and then on the right here is my app that I'm working on. It's a seat placement and ticketing app for my imaginary sports franchise. And I also have the CLI down below, which I'm using for functions. So let's go to Setup in Salesforce and head over to the Change Data Capture section. So this is the setup UI for Change Data Capture, and as we discussed earlier, we can choose objects on the left here, standard or custom, and have them emit events when changes take place on those objects. And our Salesforce function can then natively consume those changes to perform asynchronous business logic. For right now, in this demo, we're going to work with a contact object, which I've already selected from the available entities. So the next step for me is to go into VS Code so we can take a look at our function. And here you can see the function I've written. This is the node function that will listen for my change data event and then perform an action in response. So let me highlight this code over here. First thing I want to do is determine if the CDC has a mobile phone update. If so, I want to grab that new or changed mobile number and then construct the body of a text message thanking our customers for making that change, then fire off an SMS. All of this is done outside of the actual transaction in Salesforce. And very interestingly, it lets us build composite services faster with third-party libraries. Like you could use Twilio for the SMS here. So now let's go to the command line. We'll be using our trusty dev tools here, and we'll see that the function is already deployed. So I'll list out my functions here, and we've got a few of them, but this contact update one is up first. But hey, if you're thinking, this is all great, Raj, but I'm a low code person and I'm not comfortable in the CLI and I don't want to use it, that's fine. We've got a great UI for you as well. Check this out. Check out the UI in our browser for managing and deploying various Salesforce functions. So if I go to my space here, you can see those 4 functions again. And let's click into the contact update function and bam, look at this. My event source is right there with the CDC event channel listed out. Super easy event-driven goodness. I could easily hit the add event source button here and change to another channel. Functions as a pattern are event-driven, so they lend themselves well to these concepts that we've discussed. Now, let's put this into action. So let's go to Salesforce, and now let's update a phone number for a contact. Let's start with Mr. Stamos here. So the first thing I want to do is edit his record and add a mobile phone number. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now we'll need to save this phone number. So let's go ahead and click Save. There. Now let's take on the persona of Mr. Stamos. So we'll go to QuickTime. And now you can see I've got Mr. Stamos' desktop up here, and I can see I've got my phone application as well. And we should get a text message coming in any second now. Boom, there's my text message. Pretty cool, huh? No messaging around with middleware or servers, just codes and clicks. So now let's take it one step further, should we? So the first thing I want to do is remember that ticketing and seating app that I've got? Let's bring that back up. So what I want to do is add or assign Mr. Stamos a seat to our stadium. So I've got the custom seats object in this tab. There, you see it right there. And I'll head over to seat number 1 and I'll hit edit. And we'll add Mr. Stamos as a seat holder. So we save the record again. Now let's go back again and act as our persona of Mr. Stamos. And there's the other text message. Hey, and this one's got a link to a PDF. And here it is. There's my ticket to get into the event. Nice. So this one is a bit more fun, but it's still rolling with the same concepts. This is another node function we wrote. This one is an SMS ticket function. And this one involved a custom platform event that fired from a process builder, actually. What I'll highlight here is that we parse the platform event for the name and phone number, and then we grab the URL for the ticket PDF and then package that all up into one other text. So let's dive into Process Builder and we can see how with our low-code automation tools we can publish and subscribe to events, and that's really great. I mean, our low-code builders and our pro-code devs can be working together and reuse what they do. That's a huge value add of decoupled, easier to maintain services. Really simple flow here on that seat object. As you can see, checks to see if our customer is subscribed to text notifications, and if so, it invokes a function via platform event, and then they get that text. And real quick, here's one more process we have. This one updated our app to the right. It says one seat update received. This is more eventing in action. We have a seat object here. Again, we're looking to see if a seat is reserved, and then we're firing off a platform event to invoke the last function over here in VS Code, which parses the event and updates the seating diagram in our app. Just too easy. And that's the entire demo, folks. You can see how we go from pro code to low code to functions to flow and how they all work seamlessly together in that one platform concept. All right, before we wrap up, I want to give you a quick snapshot of what's on the horizon for Change Data Capture and platform events. For Change Data Capture, as I've mentioned, we've added event enrichment, so you can send over data that hasn't changed as well. Think of this as an external ID or a foreign key to a downstream system. We're now working on getting that out to GA, as well as building out some great functionality around metrics and monitoring, so you can get a better idea of how you're using CDC, where you are in relation to Change Data Capture limits, and get visibility into the status of your change events. For platform events, we're looking on getting our published status event channel to GA, so you can get more visibility into the status of those events as well. From there, we want to tackle filtered subscriptions, and similar to Change Data Capture, we want to provide our customers with more metrics and visibility into how they're using platform events. More long-term, for both CDC and platform events, we want to tackle UI improvements so we can help our low-code friends as well utilize the power of both features. Well, folks, it's time to bid you adieu. I hope this session was informative for you and that you come away with it with a better understanding of how Salesforce does event-driven architectures. I always love interacting with our Salesforce users, so please feel free to tweet me at RajSFDC, and please add the TDX20 hashtag to your tweet so I can respond as soon as possible. Finally, don't forget to go to Trailhead, where you can start getting hands-on with these concepts through both our platform events and CDC trails. Please stay safe and healthy out there, and I hope we get to meet again soon in person in the near future. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your Trailhead DX.